Meeting will come to order. May I have a roll call, please? Babcock? Here. Chapman?
Here.
Eckford?
Here.
Gurian?
Here.
Hahn?
Here.
Morrison? Here. Seifert?
Here.
Pledge of Allegiance. Mission statement. Mission, as we conduct our business here at District 15, I'm only confused, not by the mission, but because the agenda is a little different tonight. The mission of District 15 is to produce world-class learners by building a connected learning community. Dr. Thompson.
Tonight we are honored to have some energetic young students from Mary Jordan Elementary School that are going to lead us in the pledge, and I'd like to ask Principal Grosch to come up and introduce them to us.
Like the vests.
Good evening, President Babcock, board members, Superintendent Thompson, cabinet, and guests. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to highlight a new endeavor we have embarked upon at Marion Jordan School this year. Along with me tonight is school social worker and PBIS Yellow Coach, Laura Kowalski. It is with great pleasure that Mrs. Kowalski and I introduce the following 9 students to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Jacqueline Bickler, Nora O'Brien, Ryan Pinkerman, Mariah Golick, Jenna Rudman, Allie Kozelik, Nicolette Lapatina, Mia Lapatina, Katie Kufis, and Amna Khan. These students don the bright yellow vests that you see tonight on a regular basis during our school lunch hour. The vests identify them as recess helpers. The recess helpers mingle amongst our first and second grade students to facilitate organized play, resolve simple conflicts, and encourage students to engage in noon hour activities. I have observed these ambitious and caring upperclassmen in action. It is quite a sight to see them seemingly effortlessly engage with students half their age. Each of these girls is a natural when it comes to listening to and validating young students' feelings and wishes. Their leadership potential is as boundless as their energy levels. As the principal of their school, I am proud of their commitment as well as the positive examples they set for fellow classmates. In fact, this group has become so popular, we currently have 2/3 of our 6th grade class participating as recess helpers on varying days of the week. While I could go on and on about the mutual benefits this program offers, I'd rather you hear straight from the girls what they find rewarding about participating in the program.
The first and second graders are super fun to interact with. The first and second graders treat us like celebrities because they are always so excited to see us. The first and second graders see us throughout the school day and ask if we're coming to recess to be their helpers today. I like meeting the kids and getting to know them.
There's Nicolette for you.
I feel special and important when I'm able to solve a problem the young students have. Try not to break this. Being a recess helper has helped me see just how simple it can be to solve a conflict in a peaceful way. Being a recess helper allows me to play things I really like that kids my own age rarely play anymore, like parachute. During indoor recess, I get to play school with actual students. I love helping first and second graders find a friend or join a group when they are alone.
Great job, girls. We hope you continue throughout the school year to serve our school and our young students in the capacity you have thus far. We thank you for inviting us this evening and invite everyone to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Great. Come on through.
Thank you. Thank First item in my section tonight is the recognition of a couple teachers that have invested a lot of time and energy to become recertified in their national board certification. I'm asked Lisa Nuss to come up and tell us a little about them.
President Babcock, Dr. Thompson, members of the board, and our distinguished guests. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to introduce two teachers who have done a recertification on their national boards. As educators, we find ourselves in a constantly changing educational landscape, and national board certification allows these teachers to hone their practices and showcase their talent in the classroom and demonstrate their dedication to their students. And it just epitomizes what we expect out of our teachers. These teachers have been in our district many years, and they just show a constant dedication to growing and changing, just like what we would expect out of our students. They're a great role model, and we're very proud of them. I'm going to ask both of our teachers to come up, and we have a few comments that we had gathered from their principals. So the first teacher I'm going to ask is Maureen Quessy. She's from Willow Bend. Both teachers were very specific that they didn't want to talk. So we're just honoring them up there when they put a name with a face. Ms. Quessy's a Willow Bend teacher. She teaches special ed, and we gathered some information from her principal, Melissa Sabatino, and her assistant principal, Kate Ehrenberg. Maureen has been a teacher for 33 years. She has seen the learning and achievement of students at every grade level from kindergarten through 8th grade. She says that every day she finds challenges and every day she finds joys. The joys far outweigh the challenges, and indeed it's the challenges that make the joys much richer, and she wouldn't trade either type of the experiences because both contribute to her understanding of students and what they need. She's fearless in having difficult conversations with support staff, parents, students, and administration, and in these she is always mindful of our primary purpose as a school, to instruct and equip our students so they can maximize their social, emotional, and academic potential. It's a great honor to have you as a teacher, and we appreciate your dedication to students. Thank you. And our second teacher we're honoring tonight is Susan Pollocky from Graham Sanborn. And we got some information about Ms. Pollocky from her principal, Erica Johansson, and assistant principal, Marilyn Smith. Susan has taught for 16 years. 15 of those have been at Sanborn. She's a strong, student-centered leader and the Sanborn staff. She's mentored both new and experienced teachers, as well as serving on multiple building committees, taking on many leadership roles. In her classroom, she's a positive role model for her students and parents. She's a strong advocate for her students in all areas of their lives, and it's evident that she has high expectations for herself and her students. The national board process has allowed her to gain further insights on her teaching practices and how to best support our students and our families. And we thank you for all your dedication.
Thank you, Susan Marine, for all that you've been doing and their hard work to become recertified. feel free to go ahead and leave and get ready for tomorrow. Please, thanks for coming, though, and letting us recognize you. There are a few items left in my report that I'd like to talk about. First, I just wanted to bring the board up to date on the Community Engagement Planning Committee process. They will be meeting again for the second time tomorrow night. I've been in touch with the co-chairs, and they have really taken the lead, and I'm stepping out of it, and there really are no central office administrators from the district actually participating in the committee. It's really a grassroots committee-run, community-run committee, and they've got some nice plans for tomorrow. I think they made some progress from the first meeting, and they look forward to getting some work done tomorrow. They're going to form subcommittees, work on specific tasks, and I think the subcommittees will be working in between now and then the March meeting, which is their third meeting they're set for. And I think that the co-chairs are hoping that they can come back either in March or April and address the board and kind of give you an update on what's happening from their perspective. So I think it's going well. The board asked, I think back in the fall, to consider a flat tax going forward for the 2016 levy. And, Mike Adamczyk and I did some work on that. We've given you some information. A flat tax would have been rebating about $850,000 on our debt service that would have kept taxes for most real estate taxpayers flat from last year to this year. But as we've continued to monitor the situation in Springfield, there's still strong talk about a 2-year tax freeze. And if that tax freeze occurred on top of this board creating the rebating of the debt service, it would be a kind of a double whammy. It'd be about a $1.7 million difference in the amount of money that we would have gotten versus what we would get if we had done that. And so there seems to be a strong possibility that there's a tax freeze that's going to occur through legislation. And as we examined the impact it would really have on taxpayers and the risk that it would take for the $1.7 million, it really didn't seem like it was something that would be worthwhile. Considering $850,000, we can probably have 10 or 15 teachers more next year with that $850,000. So my recommendation to the board is that we move forward without doing a rebate, and we'll look for ways to help the real estate taxpayer later. Right now, I think it's in the best interest district that we move forward with the levy that was presented without the rebate. I appreciate the board considering real estate taxpayers and trying to lessen their burden a little bit. I just don't think it's wise for our district right now. Considering, too, that there's talk, we're $4.7 million behind in the revenues we were supposed to receive from the state. They owe us $4.7 million that they promised us. We don't know if we're going to get that money, and we don't know what's going to happen with the new funding formula either. So there are a lot of unknowns, and I think the gesture is really great for the property tax payers, but I think we need to guard against some of these things happening that could really have a detrimental effect on the district. So that's my recommendation on that. A couple other things. You'll see in tonight's personnel report that Tim Waldorf has resigned. He's taken another position in another school district in the area. Glad for him. He's gotten kind of a promotion, and he is excited about his job, but it leaves a vacancy in our communications department. And with that vacancy, we're hoping to revamp the communications department. And so Zubair and Jessica are on my committee, the communications committee, and I'm hoping to reconvene that committee to start figuring out the best way to restructure the communication department so that we can have better communication with our community and do a better job in having that two-way information coming between our stakeholders and the board and the school district. So Jessica and Zubair will be looking for an email from me to try to find a date that'll work, and we'll work on that together. Hopefully we'll be able to come back to you with a restructuring proposal, which may include a director of communications. The last thing, I just want to give the board an update on the lead testing that's been done. As you recall, over the winter break, we did testing at all of our schools and all of our buildings, as a matter of fact. And there were only 4 spots that provided water that had levels of lead higher than the EPA recommended standard. And so we immediately shut those down, put them out of use. Craig and his guys investigated, remediated those sites. We had the company come back, and 3 of the sites, they were cleared to go. The 4th site, unfortunately, we had an issue with water pressure, and so there wasn't enough water pressure to do the testing. And so that particular source of water remains out of service, but as soon as we can figure out the pressure problem, we'll have them come back and test that, but we think that's been fixed as well. So right now, all test results indicate that all of our water sources in the district that we have are safe. So.
And going forward, how often do we have to do that?
If I'm reading the legislation correctly, it's once every 2 years.
We believe so.
Yeah, there's some guidelines and guidance coming out soon. It hasn't been released yet, and they're asking most school districts that haven't done water testing to wait until the guidance comes out before they start doing their testing. But we should have that information in the near future and have the specifics of all the requirements of the bill in the next few weeks.
Is it now mandated? Was there a mandate that came out about lead testing? So we're ahead of what they proposed down in Springfield already, correct?
We are.
Great.
We are.
Great to hear.
And we had already posted our test results, and I think, Mike, you only have to report tests that are above a certain level, but we provided all the test results to all of our districts, schools.
It's about 5 parts per million you're required to notify parents and guardians, but it's Dr. Thompson said we reported all the results on our test site.
Thank you.
That's it for my section.
Okay. Moving on to reading and acceptance of the minutes. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the following meeting of the Board of Education, January 11th, 2017, regular Board of Education meeting as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Corinne?
Aye.
Khan?
Aye.
Morrison? Aye. Seifert?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to board discussion and reports. Dr. Chapman, Ed Red Council and Legislation.
Well, I'd like to report that we've had progress, but there were a number of budget-related issues that were independently presented to the legislature, and the legislature was supposed to start voting on those today, but they got into a dispute as to in which order they would take action, so they have delayed action until that gets resolved.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Seifert, 1-5 Foundation.
Yeah, if I could just read something that I received from the foundation, and it's a press release that went out in January. As of January 3rd, the District 15 Educational Foundation has changed the name, as the Board of Directors has approved the name change to the 1-5 Foundation. The mission of the foundation is to acquire reserves to be used for programs or projects to enhance supplemental educational experiences in District 15. The areas of collaboration and focus are student enrichment, community involvement, health awareness, and social emotional support for District 15 students. The 1-5 Foundation is an autonomous 501c3 not-for-profit organization founded in 1989. To date, the 1-5 Foundation has invested in excess of $2 million towards the advancing of educational experience for the programs and events within the district. So that was a press release they wanted to let everyone know throughout the district. It's a new name change. There'll be new letterhead and a new logo for the foundation, and everyone's happy to keep this thing moving forward. With that, they are hosting, we did a couple years ago, a dueling piano program at Dirty Nelly's. So April 22nd, there will be a fundraiser at Dirty Nelly's, a dueling pianos project that we'd like to have everyone come out and join us. Tickets will be available in early March.
Thank you.
Dave, you've been on the board for many years now, right? The 1-5 Foundation Board?
About 10 years.
10 years. And then, I mean, you've seen over the time how much they've done. They fund Rainbows, which is a
Yes.
loss program for kids. They've done Lego League, which is an enrichment program so teams can participate in
Yep.
creating a robot and programming it. And
There's been, in the 10 years that I've been on, and I was on the grant committee for a couple of years, I mean, some of the unique grants that come through are just brainstorms that the teachers within our district put together and want to try something different that's outside the scope of what they do already, and really to get the kids drawn in and do more. And again, it has nothing really to do with any district funds. This is completely separate than any district funds. And it's really amazing what the teachers think of as they have to write it's about a 7 or 8 page proposal to the grant committee to ask for the funds. And it's exciting when you go out. I mean, again, it's one of the neat things about going out on the foundation is show with the balloons and the grant and all that, and the kids get all excited. And it's really neat, some of the programs they've done over the last 10 years that I've seen. So it's really an exciting thing to see. So again, over $2 million since 1989 is great. And again, we'll continue to try and do more of that.
thank you.
Thank you. Under the President's report, just a couple of things. We have 2 contracts that will be expiring at the end of this year. We will start negotiations with ESPA, which is Educational Support and Personnel Association. That will be beginning on Monday. I've appointed, I will be serving on both of these committees, or both of these teams, along with Dr. Chapman for one, SEIU, and Dr. Eckberg for ESPA. The reason that we're having 2 people on them is so that if one person isn't able to be there, we'll always have some coverage there. So the SEIU is the Service Employees International Union, and I don't have dates for that, but that will be coming up shortly. Before, just some very exciting things. It's happened at school, and to see, teachers react, or see teachers don't have, the kids are not cookie cutter. They do a great job, and they were.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Gurian?
Aye.
Hahn?
Aye.
Morrison? Aye. Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye. Motion carries. Item 17-221, approval of budget guidelines. May I have the suggested motion, please?
And make a motion to approve the budget guidelines for 2017-18 as presented.
Second.
Discussion.
So these are the assumptions that we will use. Mike has really drawn these up for your consideration, but these are the assumptions that we'll use to try to craft the budget for the upcoming school year. And many of these things will change as we get more information. This is a starting point, and I think as we get more definitive information, Mike will change it, bring it to us, and share it with you, and particularly as we get to the point where he presents the tentative budget.
Scott, you had mentioned earlier, I think, a little over $4 million in past payments due from the state. Do we start working that into the budget, or look at that as we go forward? I mean, has it normally come through?
Well, we have to just wait and see, but, we are in a good enough position. Again, we received the highest recognition status for our financial position. We have some reserves in place just for this purpose.
Part again, so it really is frustrating.
One thing that I did want to kind of point out, and that is when you look at the page about expenditures, you'll see that for the 2017-18 school year, our instructional salaries are predicted to increase by 2%. Remember that we have promised that over the course of the life of the contract, that on average, our increases will be less than 1% on average. So some years they'll be higher, some years lower. This year, as you remember, our salaries were, it's just a matter of publicly taking action to say that we've been doing it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Gurian?
Aye.
Hahn?
Aye.
Morrison? Aye. Seifert?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Egbert?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17-223, the bid award for the summer life safety projects. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to award the contracts for the life safeties projects, bid 17-005, bid release 2, opening 202, demolition and general trade work inclusive of trestle wall panels to the following two companies. One is Alpine Demolition Services, St. Charles, Illinois, for $429,265. Second one being Stuckey Construction Company of Waukegan, Illinois, for $2,208,207, for a total bid award of $2,636,472 as recommended. The Frank C. Whiteley project will be an expenditure of the 2017-18 Capital Project Fund.
Second.
Discussion.
Just the mention that the Frank C. Whiteley project will be expenditure of the capital project fund, that doesn't change the fact that it's part of the life safety projects, right? Or it's coming from one fund?
Right now, we're planning to take and use then some of those funds for this project, but right now, we're planning to use capital project fund for this.
Okay. Makes sense.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Khan,
Aye.
Morrison. Aye. Seifert,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Chapman,
Aye.
Eckert,
Aye.
Gurian.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 17224, bid rejection, summer life safety projects. May I have the suggested motion, please?
I make a motion to reject the bid for the life safety project bids 1705, bid release 2, opening 2 of 2 curtain wall panels as recommended. The district received only one bid and will re-engineer the panels and rebid the work for spring 2017.
Second.
Discussion. So we are actually being extremely diligent to make sure that we get more than one bid.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just another example of Mike and Craig doing really a fabulous job. The bids came in far above what we anticipated, so they did some investigation. They interviewed the bidder, realized that he probably didn't have the crew to do it. He only did it as a courtesy, and he bid far higher than he needed to. And when he really was pushed, he didn't really want to do the job. And we were hoping to get this done in one summer, but it's just not going to work out. But we think we have probably